Happy Pride, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am Deuce, and this is Producer Post, where we talk about Black media, and maybe I'll do some poetry. But yes, today I wanted to make a video of character convos of sorts for the characters of Pose, because I loved how their stories ended. It was consistent, it was well written, and honestly, it really should be setting the standard, because a lot of people don't know how to end a story. You know, they keep the dragging it long, or it's too rushed. Although there were rush actors of the season, but the character arcs themselves, fantastic. So let's talk about it. And of course, self-plug, y'all should check out my other content. Most recent videos with the colors and Grownish. My most recent character convo was about Elektra herself. And no, I'm not milking Pose for money. It's just I tend to finish it around this time of the year.
We all know about you, Motherblanca. A real official nurse, educated, graduated, and certified by the state.
So let's start off with the one that started all, Miss Motherblanca Evangelista. So her story started and ended with motherhood, because essentially she was trying to define what that meant for her as a house mother when she took in Damon and Angel, and she went out the way for Damon too, because she really wanted to make a name for him and she wanted to make a name for herself. And then at the end, she wanted to know what motherhood meant in general. As shown in the clip, she was able to become a nurse. And you know, you can't be a nurse without a nurturing, kind-hearted spirit. And so she was able to transfer, like once all of once she was an empty nester, she settled down with a fine man. Jeremy pulled me up. And she was able to become a nurse and help those that needed help most, and be a shining beacon of hope for everyone that have HIV. And I just think that's wonderful for her character. Like that was, and she also proved what motherhood was to a lot of people, okay? She proved what motherhood was to Chris's mom, who thought she couldn't do anything because of her trans identity. She proved it to her numerous children, even the children we didn't see from last season. We were robbed of that as well. She proved what it meant to Elektra, because Elektra, she thought being a mother, as we've seen from her trunk episode, and we're going to talk about a little bit more, she thought being a mother was one way, and now, like, you know, Blanca was the one to soften her up and, you know, show her what it really means to be a kind person, and you don't even have to expect anything in return. So yeah, she started her journey with motherhood and she ended it with motherhood in a different kind of way. So I love that for her.
You know, being a full-time mother it's just the most craziest, most beautiful thing in the world.
Next, we have Angel. And Angel always made herself feel small. And I think it's just because she felt, I mean, everyone was always telling her as such. Like, she made herself feel small for Stan and became his little plaything. She made herself small for Poppy because they liked each other, but she always rejected his love because she felt she wasn't deserving. And then even for marriage, she didn't think she could do it. She couldn't even think she'd be a mother. And look at her, she's doing everything. She didn't think she could be a model. And she modeled a couple of times. She's, what's it called? She's on a runway. She was doing the perfume. She's gonna do the new hair product. Like, Angel's story is basically about, like, she let other people define her value and she learned how to value herself. Remember when she wasn't getting any gigs and she was upset with Poppy? The beginning of season 1, Angel wouldn't do that. She would let someone else dictate her worth and she would have been okay. She would have been super complacent. But nah, I'm telling y'all, character progression, character growth, that's how an arc is supposed to go.
Darlings, I was rich before, but now, if I drop $1,000 on the street, I don't even bother wasting time to pick it up.
Well, you talking real tough, Elektra, but I know you quietly giving money to those hospitals and those drug treatment facilities to help the girls.
And she's paying for hormones and surgeries too.
A regular transsexual Robin Hood.
Next is Elektra, and I sort of have to reevaluate how I made my video, but just still check it out because it's not wrong. It's just I want to add to the video. Basically, she used to define herself by superficial things like passing, money, and beauty. You know, that's what she defined herself. And one thing that I never, something that encompasses all three of those things is that she is the only one and still is the only one that has undergone bottom surgery that we know of. I don't know if everyone else already got it and they didn't do it or never mention it, but she's the only one where we've been told that she got bottom surgery because she wanted to look like a real woman, and she thought a real woman is supposed to have that. Nobody else ever felt compelled enough to get that. And so, like I say, she was big on superficiality and really big on money. She used money and materialism to define who she was and her value. But now she defines herself by how giving she is. In season 3, when she got money, she was helping, donating, being generous when it came to helping Blanca out, when it came to Angel and Papi's wedding, when it came to donating to people in the hospitals for their surgeries, for their hormones, for HIV medicine and research. So yeah, shout out to Elektra because she rewatching episodes to get, you know, a sense of who they were and who they are. She's not the same person, and that's great. Like I said, character progression and character consistency. Oh, and one more thing. She specifically said in the past that dependency is a weakness, but now Elektra, she doesn't hesitate to help others. Again, showing her character growth. I just have to add that.
I have done almost everything I set out to do when I left my mama's house. I've gotten to live my truth unapologetically. I've gotten to work the most treacherous of runways out on that ballroom floor, and I've gotten to pose with the best of them.
Last thing is the man of the hour, Pray Tell. Now, Pray Tell's story has always been about perseverance, and I don't know why, but it seems like the writers really just kept dogpiling trauma on Pray Tell because he had to persevere assault from his father, sexual abuse from his stepfather, homophobia from his home, his church, his aunt, HIV and AIDS, which was taking the lives of his friends and his lovers, and then alcoholism as he used to cope. Essentially, he was afraid of death his entire life. He always saw markers of death, and at a point, he embraced it. He stopped running away from it and he embraced it, which is why he did that selfless act of distributing his meds to Ricky when he saw Ricky was losing his will to live, and he was like, absolutely not. And rewatching the episodes so I can get the clips for this video, I can assure you he knew he was gonna die. And you probably couldn't tell at first because he's very dramatic, you know? And the words he says always have the most utmost and grandiose connotations and stuff, but they definitely had finality to him. He knew he was gonna die. And now that I know that he knew he was gonna die because he stopped taking his meds, because he was giving them to Ricky, yeah. He was a good man. Oh my gosh. And then another thing, he had to persevere through his own internal struggles with femphobia because, you know, his father beat him for being effeminate, so he rejected that completely. And so to see his final moments of season 2 and season 3 of him in beautiful drag and loving himself, living in his truth, come on. Character progression, character consistency, just so good. So while those main 4 characters, I feel, had their stories, their stories were told completely, these 4 I don't necessarily feel about the same because they just weren't as developed as the others. So first is Lulu, who had to overcome her addiction, which was the opening shut case in season 3. And then her little accounting storyline was interesting because they kept mentioning her accounting stuff, but we never saw her actually do anything, any studying, any preparation, anything to actually, you know, see that she's working towards become a better accountant. And that's with Blanca being a nurse too, but we see her being, you know, in the hospital at least. But yeah, nothing for Lulu. I think that's also a problem with season 3 overall, because they had the audacity to do several time skips. Like, you never know what time it is. You never know what year it is. Like, 1 second later, it's one day, and then a second later, oh, it's 6 months later. Like, they'll say that in passing, which bothers me. Then we have Damon, which we were robbed. So he wasn't in season 3 because something happened in his family, and so he had to go help out, and he couldn't film. But I would love to see how his story ended. Because you can't have posts about Damon. Him and Blanca were beginning the series. Then we have Poppy, our favorite simp, who was able to marry the woman of his dreams. I mean, and he became a father, he became a literal Poppy. Hilarious. And then finally we have Ricky. And because Pray Tell gave him the will to live, not only was he able to go dance with Destiny's Child, but he also became a house father. And he looked dapper. He looked super dapper. I want the fit. That's my pimp outfit right there. So shout out to him. But yeah, that's what I can say about everyone in their stories. I hope you all enjoyed. Please tell me what y'all thought about Pose. I'll see. Well, I don't want to say that because I might do something else for Pride. But if not, I will see y'all whenever.